Goddamn smoke.
Hey, sports fans, Louis Diamond in our Las Vegas handicapping studios, and you are watching BettorCenter live. Filling in for Brad Stein today. I will be your Thursday night host throughout this season. And what better way to start the Thursday night with the start of the NFL? That's right, guys. It's here, finally here. A lot of questions for this football season. Do our handicappers have the answer is the real question. And I definitely believe they do. I've invested heavily into these gentlemen, and I believe that they will be providing you great information all football season long. So what you need to do is you need to subscribe either here on Facebook or over on YouTube at Louis Diamond. So this way you get these shows live as they happen. Takes us a while to get them up afterwards. You want to get that information, and many times we'll give you the moves before they happen, especially like last night when the Cleveland-Minnesota play that I was able to get out to you yesterday, nice solid winner. Game opened up at 8.5, bet down to 7.5. It's a series that I've been on that you've known from the beginning. We win the first, lose the second, win the third game. And if you stick around for my most interesting play of the day, you'll see that line moved, opened up at 9 last night, and it is being bet down to 8. So if you start to pay attention to what we're doing, you'll be ahead of the moves. We got the information for you. So with that being said, let me introduce to you our first two handicappers of the day, and let's get right into the NFL. I have Dell Warfield and Tony Gullidge, two great handicappers looking to get you some winners tonight. So let's start with that. The Texans and the Chiefs. The Chiefs. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So let's start with the Texans and the Chiefs. The game opened up 9.5 early on a few months back. Now we're seeing as high as 10.5 over at an offshore book plus $1.10. So yes, and then we're seeing it some nines but mostly settled in at 9.5 is the line right now. Total opens up 56.5, and now it has bet down to 53.5. So they're playing the under. There seems to be a little love for the Chiefs. Dell, what are you seeing?
Hey there, Louis. All right, so for this game, the Chiefs versus Texans, right? This is actually going to be my most interesting play. I don't know if I should tease it now or give it to you guys now, but I will tell you now that I will be giving it in later in the show. But I really like this total, so stay tuned later for the most interesting play. I love this total.
All right, Dell's got a little tease for you here. He's got a nice play on the total here today, and we'll see what he's got for that. Tony, what are your thoughts on the game here today?
You got your Super Bowl champs playing against Houston, a team they lost to last regular season, fell behind in the playoffs, but that made the miraculous comeback to get to the Super Bowl. Mahomes got all the money. The thing here is the preparation for these games. It kind of reminds me, I know I just want football back, okay? But it kind of reminds me of dating the girl and you're sitting in the back row of the movie theater. You start to dry hump the girl's leg. You know you like it, but you don't know what the hell you're doing. I almost get that feeling here tonight. I know I want this game. I know I want to watch it, but I'm not sure exactly what the hell I'm doing. They play no preseason games. They're throwing these guys out on the field. Here we go, week 1. The Great White Capper is going to back Kansas City minus the points here. It's going to be like a mid-level best bet play. Definitely not going to step off a cliff here. but I just think the defenses are the ones that are going to hurt the most in this matchup from the fact that they did not have preseason. I'm going to give the Chiefs, Mahomes. I think, like I say, their core offensive parts don't need the preseason, but the defense, though, I think particularly Houston would have needed it more than Kansas City. So based on the edges I see Kansas City having due to the preparation for this game, I'm going to make my first pick in the NFL this season on the Kansas City Chiefs. Lay the points.
All right, Tony, there you go. So my thoughts on the game are kind of like this. Houston has fallen back. Chiefs are pretty much the same team. Both of them, still, the preparation, they both lie the same way. They both have the same disadvantages. And I think Bill O'Brien might be the first NFL coach that's going to get axed this year. I think his off-season decisions were terrible. He traded for a running back in David Johnson, who's very injury-prone, averages less yards per game. And now they get rid of his number one receiver. And, yeah, they brought in Cobb and Cooks from L.A., journeyman, and as potential deep threats. I don't see it happening this year for the Houston Texans. So, but it is early in the season. The Chiefs are laying 9.5 or 10. I see a little play on the 9.5. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to open me up a teaser on this game with the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to get the job done at home. Now, I know the over always seems to be a great play for the Chiefs, but they are betting the under. You won't see me put money on a Chiefs game under. I'd rather just watch it go and feel like, yeah, I missed something, but I'll wait for my opportunities on the over. I don't think the opportunity's there tonight because I don't see Houston being able to put the right team on the field. So, all right. So now, Tony, you got anything else to add on that?
Well, I just
Or are we going to Tony C?
Pay attention. Yeah, I just want to say maybe pay attention to the crowds tonight. This is going to be our first preview of what limited, or it's in some games there's going to be no fans. I'm interested to see how that affects home field advantage because as an NFL handicapper over decades of doing this, home field advantage is key. It's almost like playing two different teams, a home team and an away team. And I think if home field is diminished because of the coronavirus and the lack of fans in the stands, that it's going to help the better teams. Because when you're a better team, you're not going to be affected by being in a different location. You would be affected by crowd noise and environment, but if that is eliminated, I think the better teams are going to do better on the road because of it. So watch that tonight, and this week one, pay close attention to crowds and how they affect the games.
Okay, great points. In fact, tonight only 22% of the crowd is allowed in Kansas City, so that'll leave you somewhere around 16,000, 17,000, if my quick math is anywhere close to that. So they will have some fans. If there ever were home field advantage, and there was, Kansas City was most definitely one of the tops in that area. But I don't think that matters too much because I think they just have the better guns here tonight. But yes, laying 9.5 points or 10 points is a little worrisome when you really don't have that home field advantage. I think Houston is just in a mismatch here tonight. So but you want to keep track of what's going on in the stadium. So what is going on? With that, I'll segue us into college football game tonight. UAB is at the Miami Hurricanes, and this game opened up with the Hurricanes as high as 16. Now we're seeing a solid 14. There are some 14 and a halves out there, and we total opened up 48 and a half, and it's got steamed all the way up to 55. And obviously the early money and the sharp guys were quickly on the over in this matchup. The followers followed that, and do you believe that that the steam is the right way to roll on this game? Is the number gone too high? What are your thoughts, Del? Okay, seems like Del maybe have Del. Okay, so let me. Are you with us, Del?
Hey, Lou.
Hey, my UAB in Miami. What are your thoughts on the total movement from 48.5 up to 55? The big steam on the over, and some thoughts on the game. All right, so transmission issues there with you. The same question. I'm sure you heard it. And what are you thinking on the college game tonight?
Okay, well, I don't really bet totals, so I do follow, and I've had people that follow my analysis say they can make totals based on what I say. They can kind of figure out what I'm leaning to on the total. But I will say for the game itself, Miami, they were a dumpster fire last year. Insane, that a team can just lose its grip on reality that much. I think you're going to see a better Miami team this year. I like this kid they brought in from Houston, the transfer quarterback. What I can remember from him at Houston was he was very athletic, and even against behind perhaps a less athletic offensive line, he was able to make people make plays. So bringing that to a bigger ACC school where you expect better athletes, I think this kid can make a difference for this team right off the bat. I noted that their wide receivers were experienced, but they didn't get a lot of action. So you got a senior and a junior are the top two wide receivers they had about this year. I'm just not buying into this the UAB yet. I'm not really ready to give them a lot of credit for the win against Central Arkansas last week, 45-35. I did note on that they looked good for most of the game, but their defense to me is suspect. So you got to watch the defense. The play will be on Miami for me. Take Miami, give the 14. I think you'll be a winner here.
All right, thank you, Tony. Sorry, you broke up, and I didn't mean to cut you off there. But you're looking at Miami, and I not only agree with you, I'm actually feeling that this is somewhat of a solid play with Miami. D'Eriq King, if you look at his story, here's a guy that's been set up with some pretty bad beats over the past 2 years. It's very questionable if he should have been redshirted or not. He kind of got forced into the red shirt through Holgorsen. Then Holgorsen kind of left him hanging. This guy's got a lot to prove. Then he finds out his mother has cancer. Then his father passes away. Football is this kid's release right now. We've seen this story, even though as personal as it may be, but we've seen this type of story 100 times in sports. This kid is poised to be in a superstar type of season. Now, am I betting that out of the game? Yeah, a little bit. I believe it. Okay, will it happen? I think it has the potential. So that doesn't mean it's definitely going to happen, but he's athletic. He's like Tony alluded to, he has a more of an offensive juggernaut to work with, and he's got the focus in his eyes. So normally, when there's fans in the stand, this game's only going to have about 13,000 fans in the stand. So it's not going to be a big home field advantage. But normally, I'll take a favorite like this, and I'm going to chop them in a quarter. I'm going in the first quarter, the home team fired up. Going to chop that price down at a 14-point favorite. Will probably be about a 4.5 point, 4 or 4.5. You'll probably have to go over the half, but if you get it early in the first quarter, you might be able to lay 4, which is a great number. And I believe Miami comes out in the first quarter. I'd be hitting this thing hard if there were fans tonight. I think Miami comes out strong, and I think they cover the big number. I think UAB's in for a little bit of trouble today, and they get themselves in a little bit of a struggle to put the points on the board like they did last week. I don't think that that's going to happen for them this week. So I'm feeling some under here, but I'm definitely feeling Miami in the first quarter, and I'm definitely feeling some Miami love. So, Del, I think you're back with us. Any opinion on that game? Nope, Del is not with us. So, Tony, let's get into the NBA, Tony. And tonight we got the Rockets and the Lakers. And what are we zigging? Or are we zagging? What are we doing? I got to go with you on this one. Where we got?
Okay, well, past 2 nights, I've got 2-0 sweeps. Those Lakers game 4, 2-1 series lead. I'm going to back the Lakers here in this game 4 situation. I think the muscle is going to start showing here. You know, the Rockets in the first couple games, their ability to cut and move and make the 3-point shot was won them a game, and then it kept them very close in a game. Then now I think you're going to say it's going to exponentially build. I think the strength of the Lakers is going to take over this series. I think it's going to show tonight. I believe you will be better off here just laying the 5 points. I think the last line I saw was 5. Play the Lakers -5, and that's my best bet in the NBA tonight.
All right. Lakers -5. I'm going to roll with you on the Lakers here. There's been just something to note. I kind of felt like this might be the opportunity for the Lakers to step up some defense, but the series has a little history to the over. It's 9-2 at Houston, but we're in the bubble, so that really doesn't matter. But Rockets 5-1 to the under, their last 6 overall. And Lakers 7-2 to the under following an ATS win. So I'm going to lean a little bit on the under, but I'll have a lot more faith in your play on the Lakers. So with that being said, we're going to take a quick little commercial break. We'll be back with Tony C., man on the street at Arrowhead Stadium, giving us a breakdown of the game.
Brad Stein here, live from Las Vegas. Join us daily for BettorCenter Live with our professional handicappers, where you get sports information you can bet on. Stop gambling, start winning. BettorCenter Live.
Thanks, Lou. Tony C. here, your man on the street, coming to you in the wee small hours of the morning in Kansas City, Missouri, Arrowhead Stadium, home of the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, where tonight they will start to defend that Super Bowl title against the visitor Houston Texans. That's correct. The Houston Texans are in town. Deshaun Watson, J.J. Watt, and the rest of the team come to town with a little payback in mind after blowing probably one of the biggest leads in the history of the playoffs last January. But we really can't go back and look at that. We've got to, look here at what's going to happen tonight. We can't go back and live in the past. That happened. It's done. It's over. Is it deja vu all over again? I seriously doubt it. We're not going to see a high-octane offense from either side, and I'm going to tell you why. No preseason, Lou. Nobody had 4 games to get in shape and get in tune here. So you're going to see some rusty football. You're not going to see full execution here. You're going to see drop passes, bobbled balls. And with that, what you're going to see is a lot of running from Deshaun Watson, because that's what they're known for, this Houston team on the offensive side of the ball, and they're going to eat that clock up. And why do I bring those key notes up? For the simple reason is that the over and under in this is 54.5. Well, the total opened at 56.5, and it's now down to 54.5. So what are the odds makers telling us, everybody, at BettorCenter? The odds makers are telling us it starts at 56.5 and comes down to 54.5, probably going to go under the total. You're not going to see full execution here with that, and you're getting a great price on that total at -105. So Tony C. says, take the under, 54.5. You're not going to see execution. The $64,000 question, Lou, that I throw back to you is that the side is 9 on each side, -10, +9 Houston, -9 Kansas City. I need to get your feedback. I want to know what Chip has to say, what Dell has to say. What does the gang at BettorCenter have to say about the side of this game? And I'm going to throw it back to you in the studio, Lou.
All right. Thank you, Tony. Yeah, Tony there a little bit early there this morning. He's excited, and we're going to have Tony throughout the season, and that is Cusimano live. Well, he wasn't live. He was a couple hours early from Arrowhead Stadium. And the side, you've got our opinions on those. We're going to get the opinion from Ross Benjamin and Chip Chirimbus here right after Tony and I give you our most interesting play of the day. And Tony, what do you got for us today?
Okay, guys, just briefly, just going to get all my picks out here. Just make sure everybody has them all. Kansas City in the NFL. We're going to take the Hurricanes in college football. We got the Lakers in the NBA. I'll mention my college football. Right now, I'm 3-0 on the season. Every play I've made has been a winner. So I feel good about the play tonight with Miami. For the most interesting play of the day, take St. Louis run line, game one. Noted here, Flaherty, like the pitching matchup, like the situation. St. Louis run line, game one of a doubleheader, 7-inning sprint. That's pretty much my full card. I also took Vegas puck line in the NHL, which I still sit at the number one by a pretty decent margin. Number one units earned at my monitoring service. So that's the full card. So let's get some money tonight, guys. Send it back to you, Lou.
All right, Tony, thank you very much for your most interesting play of the day. Tony has been on fire, but certainly a couple losers in there as of late, but he's been providing some great information. Tony, appreciate you being here every day and helping out the players. Guys, return the favor. Stop by Tony's site, say hello, and win a little bit of money. All right, my most interesting play of the day will come in a minute. Now, let's get over to our other two professional handicappers. Guys have been around. Well, I don't want to give it away, guys. So, but they're definitely, let's put it this way. I don't know if I went for the eye candy here. I went for the content, guys. So let's roll them right in. Ross Benjamin, Chip Chirimbus, welcome aboard. Welcome to football season. How you guys doing?
I'm glad you think so highly of our looks there, Lou.
Now, listen, guys, you're right.
Wine. We get better with age.
There you go. So, yes, everyone's telling me, got to bring eye candy to the table, guys. And that was the first thing I thought of was Ross, me, and Chirimbus. If that isn't sexy, I don't know what is. So, all right, guys. Let's get real sexy about football tonight, NFL tonight. You heard my opinion, so I'm going to keep it short with me. I want to hear what you guys got. Ross, what do you got in the NFL, Kansas City, and Houston Texans tonight?
Well, I got my highest rated play tonight that I'm selling on the total in this game, so I'm not going to elaborate on that, but you can get that by going to my website. That's rbwins.com. $50 will get you that play. 25-15 since 2013 with my NFL top play totals. As you can see, I don't give a lot of them out, but tonight is one of those rare occasions. So now on the side, Lou, here's what I'm looking at, okay? I'm looking at the history of these Thursday night games, and the Kansas City Chiefs, defending Super Bowl champions on a Thursday night season opener have gone 12-1 straight up in the history of these games, which I think started around 2001. And they've also covered 8 of those games, 1 ATS loss, and 4 pushes. Now, we talk about Bill O'Brien. The guy's lost as far as I'm concerned. I got to believe the culture can't be great, especially after that trade of DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson, like you alluded to, Lou. And this is a Houston defense that gave up nearly 400 yards per game last year. And they're going to be playing one of the highest or the most potent offenses, if not the most potent in all of football. So I know it's a public play, and I know Chipper's probably going to go the other way, but I'm going to have a small lean here on laying the points with the Chiefs.
All right, Ross. You know what? I'm loving what you're saying. We seem to be kicking on the same cylinders here right now. Chip, are you going to talk us off the ledge?
Well, you know, Benjamin, you shouldn't assume. This is a tough game because here we have the Chiefs opening 10.5, and seeing the number come down to 9 at one point yesterday, I believe, and now I've seen it come back up to 9.5 and 10 in places. And the total, of course, has had a 2.5-point drop since that opening. Like most of the pundits out there so far, they think this game is going to stay under, and they think it's going to go under because of the number dropping the way it did, and probably the sharper guys hitting on the total early. I don't play totals like Ross, and Ross has his as a big play, and I wish him a lot of luck on it because I think my tendency with that number coming down the way it did would be to play under. As far as the side is concerned, I've written up both sides of this game and have really have a non-decision on which side I'm going to post, and I haven't done it as of yet. I'm going to have it up before the afternoon, but I'm telling you, this is a tough one for me because Kansas City returned 17 out of 22 starters. You know, every Super Bowl champion loses so many players every year. Their egos get inflated. They get attrition. Some of them retire. Some of them go to other clubs. And they've retained 17 of 22 starters, which I think is really a great thing. They've got a little camaraderie there, and this Mahomes is certainly a wildcat, and he wants to win every time out, and that's a great thing to see. You know, this O'Brien is absolutely horrible. Ross, you were so right about that, and this is why I haven't posted Houston yet. Is this O'Brien factor and how poorly he performs, except that, like we said, Kansas City and is 9 are the road team in this series is 9-3 in the last 12. A hard selection for me to make, and I think right now the under would be my play.
All right, Chipper.
Hey, Lou,
if
I could add,
go ahead, Ross.
If I could add on to what Chip had to say, he makes a great point about returning starters. You know, continuity to me is going to be a huge factor this year in the NFL. Chip just touched upon 17 to 22 players returning. You know, we're living in a COVID-19 era, which really diminished a lot of the off-season workouts and spring practices in the NFL. So continuity, teams that have played within the same system, within the same coaching staff, that's going to be a huge factor when handicapping games in the NFL, especially early on, Lou.
Absolutely agree with you there, Ross. 100%. And, you know, it has to be a part of the focus of this football season. And Kansas City, certainly that was part of my other decisioning a little bit earlier. Glad that Chip was able to touch on it and you were able to help us reinforce it, something that you really have to look for. So now, listen, everybody here is going with an under here that said something here tonight if they made a commitment to it. So obviously, you know, the under seems to be the favorite for most players right now. I, again, can't play a Kansas City game under. I just can't do it. So I just got to pass on it. I do see the value was in the under, but mostly because I don't see Houston having much offense. And I think they're going to be a good fade this year. So I think we all kind of agree Houston should be a good fade, something to look forward to this football season, hopefully betting against the Texans. So as I said earlier, I'll be playing a little bit of Kansas City. I'll be teasing them down. I also may touch on them in that first quarter based on your continuity comment there, Ross. Good point.
Continuity, Lou.
Continuity. There we go. Continuity in government. Yes, I've been trying to remember that. That's their big game on us. Yes. So, but let's look for continuity in the NFL, and Kansas City Chiefs do have it. So now let's flip over to college football season, which opened up last week. But our first kind of marquee, second kind of marquee game here. We got the Miami Hurricanes, as we alluded earlier, minus 16 was the opener, down to 14 and 14.5. Total 48.5, blown up to 55. Now, I know Chip isn't much of a total player. I am very much a total player. I believe it's easier to ask two teams to do what they normally do if they're both over teams. You're asking them to just do what you do, than to go in and fight each other with claws scratching. But that's my opinion. That's why I have I guess, gravitated towards betting totals because it's kind of worked for me. So big steam here. And what do you think about this steam? And what do you think about the game? Ross, what do you got?
Well, you know what? I'm selling this play online. Again, rbwins.com. But here's what I'm going to do, folks. I'm going to make a commitment to you if you're watching this game or watching this show tonight. I'm going to give you this play on this show. Miami of Florida minus 14. UAB 9-5 a season ago. Struggled against an FCS team last week, winning 45-35 against Central Arkansas, I believe. 7 of their wins last year came against teams with a combined record of 19 and let me be accurate with you guys, 19-79. So 17-79. So there's 7 or 9 wins came against teams that were absolutely horrible. And Miami, Tony Gullidge brought up a good point. Derek King. Now, this is a kid that's going to make a world of difference for the Hurricanes. One of their big flaws in recent seasons has been their ineffective, unproductive, and unstable play at quarterback. This kid is going to bring all of the above. Over his career at Houston, where he performed the first 4 years and decided to redshirt after 4 games last season, he threw for 50 touchdowns against his 10 interceptions, also ran for 28 more. Again, Tony brought this up. Very good point. Not only have you got a guy that's an effective thrower, he can beat you with his legs as well. I just think that's going to make a world of difference for the Hurricanes. I think they're going to come out like a house on fire tonight. And I think UAB is going to show that when they have to step up in class like they will have to tonight, it's going to be ugly. So I like Miami. Lay the points here over UAB.
Nice, Ross. Boy, I'm feeling better. I got a couple more additions for that in a minute, but what do you got, Chip? Talk us off the ledge or jump with us. What are we doing?
Well, I'm a big Miami fan from way back, and them getting King actually puts a whole new dynamic and a whole new look to their offense and to their team entirely. This is a school that's been in turmoil the last 4 or 5 years. Mark Rick went there. It was his dream job. He had to leave. Now they have Manny Diaz. Manny Diaz is running the show. I thought that Miami was maybe hiring a baseball coach looking for a Diaz, but all those shootings and off-campus problems which they've had in the past haven't happened this year. But there was a shooting and a killing on the UAB campus this year. They lost a freshman linebacker. But that being said, I think the total moving the way it did tells you that this Miami team's ready to put it together offensively. And, Ross pointing out the fact that UAB, who has a game under their belt, and that there has to be something said for that, has posted wins over, false idols out there with teams that have a horrible record. Ross, 17-79. That was an incredible number you posted. And so I wouldn't have any confidence with UAB. The number's high with Miami. I don't have confidence with them because they do nothing but disappoint. They lost their last 3 games of the year last season, and I don't know if Diaz really is the answer at the helm. King is the big X factor right here, but the total should go over. 45 points for the Blazers last week. They surrendered 35, so maybe over's the way to go, and I certainly the Vegas odds makers are telling you that the way they move that number.
All right, Chipper. Ross, I'm going to be blunt. Boy, do I fucking love that number that you gave us. That was beautiful. I mean, that's a real number. They face a real team. They suck. And it's not over. It's over 100 fucking games. Are you kidding me? We got to be all over this tonight, guys.
Nothing like an eloquent analysis from Lou Diamond.
Listen, there is no filter. I try to keep it as contained as I can.
Okay. That's okay.
You cannot control me. You can only hope to contain me. But right now, I'm out of containment. I love Miami personally inside, but I'm afraid because it's the first game of the season. But, seeing that number, UAB can't get dressed for a big game. What was that, 17-79?
17-79. Yeah, they beat an FCS team by like 3 last year. And then the FBS wins, 7 of their 8 wins against FBS opponents were against teams that finished with a cumulative record of 17-79.
I can't contain myself. That is a beautiful number.
Say, Lou? Numbers don't lie and liars don't figure.
Right? There you go. Ross, that is a beautiful number. I'm actually stepping out a little bit harder because of that information, because it just really reinforces all my thoughts. And Miami, first quarter. Miami, first half. Miami for the game. Miami, tease them with the Chiefs. Guys, got a lot of good information there. Hopefully you'll take advantage of it here today. All right, now I will contain my excitement in football, and I'll move over to basketball, which I don't have a lot of excitement for. What do you guys got? Who's got something here today? Chip? Rockets? Lakers?
I want to say I'd like to say one thing about the numbers. Numbers never lie. They never lie, but they can be very misleading. 17 and 79 is not misleading. That's definitely factual. And as far as tonight's basketball game, coming off a 2-0 night last night, I think the way it looks with the series at 2-1, you actually have a feel that the Lakers are pounding this team and that Houston is out of the series and doesn't have much of a shot. But the series still is only 2-1. And all it takes is a hot shooting night out of the Rockets to even the series or even keep it close enough. The number is 5. I guess that's because the Rockets have the home court advantage. They get to choose what color uniform they want to wear. But I would take the Rockets there. I mean, the Rockets would be my side tonight.
All right.
Ross, you gotta love
what do you got?
Chip's handicapping theories. He doesn't like teams that don't like to work. Any team that he could play for, we have to fade. And now the home court advantage is the color of the uniform because we're playing in the bubble. So very inspiring thoughts from Chip Chirimbas, the veteran handicapper. I love it. Chip, you're my favorite, man. Anyway, as far as the game tonight, I don't have an opinion on this game. Here's what I've observed. This almost looks too easy, and when it looks too easy to me, it never is, and very rarely is. Let's put it that way in sports betting. But the Lakers, they have the size advantage. They've had it since the beginning. I like what they're doing right now. What they're basically saying is you're not going to take the ball to the hole and utilize your quickness, meaning Houston. You're going to have to make threes. We know you like to hit threes. If you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us by shooting a high percentage of threes. And the Lakers' length, you saw it in the second half of Game 3. They, 64 points in the first half for Houston in that game. They scored 38 in the second half, and they had very little room to breathe. I just think the Lakers have the solution right now. Laying the 5 is a reasonable number. Yeah, they're wearing the road jerseys tonight. But again, if you put the proverbial gun to my head, Lou, which I've had on many occasions, I would lay the points with the Lakers.
All right, Chip. How about you give us a little something on this? Show everybody you're not all just eye candy. What do you got?
On what? On this game? I think I've already reviewed it. If you want to move on to something else, I'll be glad to. Yes, I did, my friend.
Yeah, your most interesting play of the day. That's where we're at, and I'll wake up soon.
I have one, and it's in Major League Baseball, and it's because we have a Cy Young Award winner, Jake Arrieta, I believe his name is. 2-3 on the season. He's a pick'em against this Miami team. Miami, of course, has got off to a great start. They're at 500, but gave up 29 runs yesterday. This is a baseball game. They gave up 29 runs, and I always like to come back on a team that was so humiliated and embarrassed. They were, believe me, when they're sitting out there in that field and that 9-inning game, and they're getting crushed like that, they can't wait for that game to end. And I think they're going to be in the money today. And the line at Pick'em tells me that Philadelphia, who's won like 14 of the last 17, may be in trouble tonight in Miami. I'm going to take the Marlins.
I kind of like the going with the gotten crushed theory. Not a bad theory. I won't disagree with you there. Ross, what are your most interesting play of the day?
All right, I did one of these last week, so when we talk about this game, maybe you want to hold your nose because it's an absolute stinker. And I cashed the last time we used one of these. Chipper, I know that you've got all eyes on this game. Coastal Carolina at Kansas on Saturday night in college football. Really, the eyes of the nation will be on this game, only because it's at 10 o'clock at night and the only game being viewed. Anyway, Kansas loses to Coastal Carolina 12-7 last year. Revenge factor. Les Miles, second year at Kansas, 3-9 last year. 3 of the 9 losses by 6 points or fewer. Same record as they had the year before. But you know what? They showed improvement. All right, they're not playing a top 10 team out of the Big 12 or even the top 25. They're playing Coastal Carolina. This line opened at 3.5. It's gone up to as much as 6.5 and 7. Now, when have you ever seen Kansas, number one, as a favorite, and then the line escalate the way it has, right? What's that tell you? I'm going to, then I have a college football betting angle here too. And it goes, if you have a college football favorite of -1.5 to -9.5 that's playing in their season opener like Kansas is tonight, and they won 3 or fewer games the year before, and they're facing a team that won 7 or fewer games the year before, 9-0 straight up in ATS since 2010, and they won by over 19 points per game. This one just, I mean, again, we all look at those premium matchups. Sometimes, as Lou would say eloquently, you got to find money. And I think I've found money here, Lou. I'm going to take Kansas here, -6.5 over Coastal Carolina as my most interesting game of the day.
Whoo! Waking me right up of a slumber here. Never expected something like that. Now I'm really looking into it because you make sense, Ross, and it's tough, especially when the Jayhawks. I think they're 1-6 as a favorite. So here's a team that's never in a position, and now they are getting steam. A lot to be said there. So I will follow and tail you on that one. And the reason why Ross is giving us Saturday's game, he's not going to be here on the weekends. So you got to grab your information from Ross as best as you can. He's got a nice play for you on Saturday. Go to RB Wins and visit him. Look at what he has to offer you. As you can see, the man is bringing some good stuff to the table. Chip doing the same thing. Go visit him over at Chip Wins. Tony Gullidge bringing it every day over at the Great White Capper. And then we got Del Warfield at Warfield on Facebook. Warfield Elite on Facebook. I'm sorry, Del. So, all right. So with that, I'll be leaving you with my most interesting play of the day. And that's going to be the same play as it's been in the last few days. The Cleveland and Kansas City game to the under. So we got 2 out of 3 so far. Now, worst I'm going to do in this scenario is a split out, but chances are I'm going to score 3 out of 4 here. And you got to get it early. Guys, it's already been steamed. So it's our last chance here today. Singer, 3-5 to the under this year. Saval, 2-6 to the under. Both teams dead spanking under, 16-26 for KC, 12-28 for Cleveland. So a lot of good reasons to play that game under today, and that is my most interesting game of the day. So with that being said, this is BettorCenter Live. Join us every day, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Join us on subscribe on Facebook or subscribe at YouTube/Louis Diamond. You'll get this information as soon as it's released. Stay informed, my friends.